Good morning. Today I am sitting here playing some Balatro just to have some fun. So I recently saw on TikTok a bunch of people talking about getting PayPigs, and people might ask, what the heck is a PayPig? A PayPig is a person who gives you money, often for nothing in return. It's part of a fetish known as financial domination, where two parties, often a dominant woman and a submissive man, though it can be a submissive man and a dominant man or any combination of groups where one group or person gives the other group or person money. They will sometimes receive sexual services for this, though oftentimes the person giving the money just as pleasure from actually giving the money. Now, it is a fetish, and it is something that is generally considered against TikTok terms of service. However, it appears that they are allowing this at this time, and I'm not 100% sure why. Not that it really matters. Financial domination is something that many people engage in throughout the course of their life, in some way or another, because they just might find it interesting. Now, this is quite different from actually purchasing services from someone, such as someone on OnlyFans, because with that you are exchanging money for, well, physical goods and services, which would be the actual original content you received from them, whereas generally in financial domination you don't actually receive anything from them, and because of that it's often been talked of as potentially being abusive. I don't fully agree with that because there is supposed to be a discussion and consent, and the dominant party is supposed to ensure that the submissive party does not spend more money than they can afford, although in practice that often doesn't work out, and it's unfortunate that that happens because when people end up losing out on money for all of those reasons because of everything that could happen, it becomes a problem. And because it becomes a problem, you have to worry about everything that could happen with this. Now, I just skipped some blinds because this game's 0.25 per, or per not playing most played poker hand. Oh, okay. And I find that very interesting that that's a thing that happened. Because you can actually see people doing TikTok ads seeking pay pigs, which I found absolutely astonishing. That that happened because what? Generally, you don't want to pay for this so that you can actually go ahead and get yourself a actual like money making thing off of that. But in this case, it appears that the dominant people are very interested in finding some way to make money and are doing so by just simply having the TikTok ads, which is, totally fine. I don't have a problem with that. I think that's totally fine for them to do. And when they do that, I wonder, how much money are they actually making? People who engage in this fetish often will be found on social medias like TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, all sorts of things. If you just search like PayPig on one of those apps, you'll see plenty of people. You'll probably even be able to see it here. Actually, you'll be able to see it here. I know that because I'm going to use that in the title of the video. Um, I don't have a problem with people engaging in things that are consensual, because I believe that everybody should be allowed to engage in consensual um, activities of their choice. And if they choose to do something that I don't like, that's totally fine. But, you know, there are risks. People could end up losing a lot of money on this. People end up gaining a decent amount of money on this as well, simply because they end up with a large amount of money from the financial domination, and because of that, you have to understand that this is something that a lot of people in the adult industry do, and because of that it is going mainstream because people are seeing it and they're like, I see what you can do for others. Lord, help me. Do it for me as well. And it's like, okay, but you got to actually put in work because you have to communicate with people. The big thing about financial domination is that it's essentially sales. And with it being sales, you have to be able to sell yourself. Almost all social media is sales. And the reason I say that almost all social media is sales is because you have to find a way to like sell yourself as being one of those people who is useful or good or who creates good content. But that doesn't necessarily mean you're going to get views. You could create the greatest content in the world, but if nobody looks at it, they're not going to be able to see it. But if you can create something that like sells you, you're going to get people to view you. And I'm not talking about using an advertisement. I don't agree with the idea of using an advertisement to find people to give you money for just nothing, because that just seems weird. Um, but people are doing it, and it's totally fine. Mm, That's 50 chips, so yeah, that well, is the multiplier by at least 25. All right, take it, and we'll see what happens. It's Now, financial domination is something that I've engaged in both as a dominant and a submissive person because I'm just like it's fine. Sometimes it's interesting to do things and experiment and like okay, cool. I don't really have a problem with people who do it. I know that sometimes it can lead you to make poor decisions, but a lot of things can lead you to make poor decisions. Honestly, I think there's actually more risk in buying certain things that we know have planned obsolescence, but that's just the way it is. And because of that, there's not much that we can do about it. So I want to thank you guys for watching.
I'd like to thank you for taking the time to watch today's video, whether it was about the Mariners, sports predictions, or anything else that I have made videos about. I want to give you information about other channels where you can reach me. I'm on Patreon at Sammy5436 for $1 a month. Right now on Patreon, all that really gets you is access to Mariners recaps 12 or so hours before they are available on YouTube and TikTok. I'm also available on Instagram at Sammy54362 and at Samantha P54361. That second one is a business account. I can be found on Cameo at Sammy5436. That is an account that I think you should definitely follow because right now cameos are $7 and they will be there for the foreseeable future because I, right now, understand that the economy is in a bit of a downturn. So if you want to support, I do appreciate that. You can also find me on TikTok at Sammy5436. I do also have 3 other YouTube channels that are linked to this channel. Uh, all of this information can be found linked in the video descriptions of every one of my videos for the most part, other than shorts. And for business inquiries, you can email me at samanthapond54361 at outlook.com. I do want to advise you that for business inquiries, they do need to be professional, and as they come through to me, I will respond to them as I see fit. Anything that you have that is business related sent to that email will be reviewed and looked at by me. I generally take a look at my emails twice a week from that email account, though there are times where it is more frequent and times where it is less frequent. I also have premium content on a battle pass that's $4.99 a month. No, $5.99 a month, and you can find that you know where with the username Sammy5436. I'm also planning on potentially doing some live streaming at Sammy5436 on YouTube, on Twitch, on some other live streaming platforms, because I think that would be a great way for me to grow. Thank you for tuning in.